To commence with the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious and merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Myself Ali Hassan. Welcome to my YouTube channel Dr. Food Tea. As we know, we have finished Unit 1 that was relevant to Introduction to Food Science and Technology. We have made like 3 videos upon that unit, and we'll go on with Unit 2 that will be about nutrients in food. So let's have a look what will be the objectives to discuss this unit. So first of all, the objectives will be like to study the important constituents of food and their functions, to gain the knowledge about the disease occurred due to deficiency of nutrients, to know the different sources of the nutrients, to understand the energy value of food and various methods to calculate it, and to understand the terms BMI and BMR. So as we know, what is nutrient? Nutrient is any substance that provide a specific a nourishment essential for the maintenance of life and for growth. So good nutrition is a fundamental requirement for positive, strong health, functional efficiency and productivity. So that's the importance of good nutrition. So as we know, our body is made up of complex biomolecules. We also contains carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals, and these are all the molecules that present in living system. So first of all, we need all the type of nutrients, and it is just it is said that nutrition is a good nutrition. And to get a good nutrition, we need to consume a variety of food, because it is said that there is no universal food that will satisfy all nutrients requirements. So that's the reason why we need a variety of food. That's the reason we need to pick different food from all the food groups. We have to use cereals, pulses, legumes, nuts, all seeds, fruits and vegetables, milk and milk products, and so on, meat products, eggs, poultry, spices and herbs. So that's a reason, that is a reason, and importance of selecting all the food from different food groups. So after consuming different foods, they undergo different physiochemical changes, and after those physiochemical changes, different nutrients are absorbed in the body. They supply energy and they can perform different other functions that are very essential for the maintenance and growth of the body. So that all will be covered in Unit 2. So in Unit 2, Chapter 4 is the first unit in Unit 2, and it is about macro and micronutrients. This is the first topic that we will discuss in Unit 2. So let's have a look on the contents. Classification of nutrients will be discussed. Then 4 or 5 different nutrient groups will be discussed, like carbohydrates, including proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and water. So these all nutrients will be discussed one by one in this chapter. So first of all, let's recall what is the food. Food is any substance consumed to provide nutritional support for human being. It includes food intake, absorption, assimilation, biosynthesis, catabolism and excretion. So this is what the food is. Food is composed of nutrients. It is said every type of food that we consume is basically enriched of some nutrients. Nutrients are chemical components present in food that supply nourishment to the body. A nutrient must accomplish at least one of the following functions. So these 3 functions, if any nutrient accomplish these 3 functions, we say this is a nutrient. What are those 3 functions? First of all, supply energy to body, either build, repair and maintain body tissues, or regulate body processes. So these are the basic roles of any nutrient in the body. So there are 6 main nutrients which perform specific function in our body. So what are those six main nutrients? These are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. So after that, let like discuss what like how do we classify nutrients. So in the classification of nutrients, we see two main groups that are based upon according to amount of requirement, like how much they are required. So on that like on that basis, there are two main groups: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are required in relatively large amounts. This includes carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And what are micronutrients? These are required in smaller amount by the body, and they include vitamins and minerals. So these are what micronutrients and macronutrients are. So here is a table that briefly describes what are the key differentiating points between macro and micronutrients. So look, have a quick look on that. Macronutrients. First of all, their requirements: macro are required in large amounts, while micro required in small amounts. And examples of macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and water. On the other side, in micronutrients, the examples are vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients contribute to the bulk energy needed for the metabolic system. That's why they are needed in the large amounts. While micronutrients assist in various functions of metabolic activities of body, growth, and disease prevention. That's the reason why their requirement is minute as compared to macronutrients. At the end, you can see what are the different food groups that provide macronutrients. Those include cereals, legumes, meat, fish, root and tubers, nuts, oilseed. These are the rich macronutrients. And in micronutrients, mainly fruits, vegetables, GLV, and fermented foods. These are rich in micronutrients. So first of all, in micronutrients, we'll discuss the first category, that is carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are main source of energy and present in major quantity in our food. Carbohydrate is a chemical compound made up of elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And basically these are the building blocks of carbohydrates. And what is the further classification of carbohydrates? So they are classified according to their number of carbon units. So first of all, they are classified in monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are the simplest carbohydrates, and they contain 2 to 6 carbon units like glucose, fructose, and galactose. While in disaccharides, they are made up of two monosaccharides sucrose, maltose, and lactose. In oligosaccharides, 3 to 9 monosaccharides are present, and their examples are raffinose, stachiols. Polysaccharides are relatively longer, are like high molecular weight carbohydrates, and they contain 10 or more monosaccharides. Examples are dextrin, starch, cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, and gums. So this is the classification of carbohydrates. Next comes what are the sources of carbohydrates, what are the functions of carbohydrates, and what happens to the body if these carbohydrates are not supplied to the body in adequate amounts. So first of all, you can see the sources. So both sources are mentioned here, plants and animals. In plants, cereals, millets, pulses, vegetables, fruits and vegetables, and sugar. These are the sources from plants. And milk and muscle and liver, these are the animal sources of carbohydrates. Functions. First of all, the primary function of carbohydrates are always to provide energy. They can protein sparing action. They also contain protein sparing action. Then utilization of fat, role in gastrointestinal function, and they also provide energy to the brain. And what happens when with their deficiency? So deficiency diseases of carbohydrates are marasmus. So what are the symptoms of marasmus? Insufficient energy, loss of weight in adults. So these are the deficiency diseases of carbohydrates in the body. Here again you can see some different sources of carbohydrates, so they are mentioned along with their some examples. So you can see different food groups are there that can provide carbohydrates. So these are the sources of carbohydrates. At the end, have a look on functions in detail that we have discussed here in the table, the functions of carbohydrates. Let's have a look in detail what are the functions. So first of all, the first function of carbohydrate in the body was to provide energy. So the main function of carbohydrate is to provide energy. 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalories, and this is a primary energy provider in the body. That's why we eat bread, rice, and fruits and vegetables. Second, protein sparing action. In protein sparing action, sometimes when we are not consuming enough amount of protein, carbohydrates provide all the types of energy to the body. That's why body do not utilize the stored protein. Rather than utilization stored protein for the energy, body utilize it for the building actions, body growth action and maintenance. That's a function of carbohydrates, that is protein sparing action. Number third is utilization of fat. Carbohydrate is essential for proper utilization of fat from the diet. Number four is role in gastrointestinal functions. Carbohydrate encourages the growth of desirable intestinal bacteria and provides facial bulk, which facilitates elimination. So, what are the prebiotics? These are also oligosaccharides mostly. They provide nourishment and nutrients for the prebiotics present in the body. So this is also the role of carbohydrates in the gastrointestinal health. At the end, carbohydrates provide energy to the brain. Glucose is the main energy supplier that provides energy to central nervous system, CNS. And we know what is the importance of central nervous system. So these are the key and critical roles of carbohydrates in the body. At the end, we need to discuss here what is glycemic index. So glycemic index is how quickly the amount of food cause the rise in blood glucose level. That is what glycemic index is. Glycemic index is a relative ranking of carbohydrate in foods according to how they affect blood glucose level. If any carbohydrates that have high glycemic index, that is considered more than 70, so it can cause rapidly increase in the blood sugar level, glucose level, while there is a range that is medium glycemic index value and low glycemic index value. So carbohydrates with a low glycemic index value, that is considered 55 or less, are more slowly digested, absorbed, metabolized, and cause a slower rise in blood glucose like oat products. So this is what glycemic index is. For the diabetic patients, they need to know which food have what glycemic index value. Mostly glycemic high, they are refrained to consume high glycemic index products honey, sugar, and some other fruits like watermelon. So they are prescribed to consume medium or either low glycemic index foods. So that is the term glycemic index is. So this is all about carbohydrates.